You told me that you're so forward.
1979 was a mad year for reggae. Roots was still burning, lovers rock was sweet in the UK, and a new dancehall sound was just starting to bubble. But the crazy thing? Most people only remember a handful of big hits, and they've completely forgotten the records that were really running sound systems and street corners. In this video, we're going back to '79 to pull out 12 reggae tunes that got buried under time. Deep roots anthems, spiritual harmonies, early Barrington, forgotten UK chart hits, songs that deserve to shake your speakers again. If you think you know reggae history, stay locked, because by the end of this countdown, you'll have at least one new favorite from 1979.
Together, I want to see the hands.
We start our journey at number 12 with a record that sounds like midnight in Kingston, standing in front of a giant speaker box while the whole neighborhood vibrates. Tony Tuff's Chant Down Babylon is not a gentle song. It's a street sermon, a warning, and a prayer, all riding on a heavy late 70s rhythm that feels like it was built to shake zinc fences. When Tony opens his mouth, he doesn't sing like a crooner trying to charm the radio. He chants. His voice has that rough, sweet quality you hear a lot in late 70s roots. Half melody, half talking, like he's preaching more than performing.
I want to see the hands of our...
He's not begging Babylon to be nice. He's calling for Babylon to be brought down. And in reggae, Babylon isn't just some random word. It means the system, corrupt politicians, police harassment, poverty, the colonial mindset that never really left. By 1979, Jamaica had lived through violent elections, economic crisis, and a lot of broken promises. So when Tony Tuff says, "Chant Down Babylon," it's not just a catchy hook, it's what a whole generation wanted to do. So why is it forgotten? Because when people talk about chanting down Babylon, they usually jump straight to the big names. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Burning Spear. Tony Tuff's tune didn't get the same international push, but in the crates of serious roots collectors, it's a treasure. It's a snapshot of 1979 reggae from the ground level, raw, focused, and aimed straight at the system. Number 11 takes us into the world of Ikong, and a song that feels like a quiet conversation with your own soul. The Way It Is doesn't scream. It doesn't shout at Babylon in the same direct way Tony Tuff does. Instead, it sounds like someone who has already seen too much, sitting down and trying to make peace with the struggle. Ikong's voice is gentle, but loaded with emotion. There's a slight sadness in the way he phrases his lines, like he's carrying history on his back. When you hear him sing about the way it is, it doesn't feel like he's giving up. It feels like he's telling the truth about how hard life can be while still holding on to a tiny light inside. The rhythm here is slower, more spacious. The bass line walks carefully instead of charging forward. Echo and reverb wrap around his voice, giving the track a mystical air, like it was recorded in a room full of incense and dim light. It's roots reggae, but with a dreamlike quality that makes it feel almost like a prayer floating in the air. What makes this tune special is the balance between acceptance and resistance. On the surface, the title sounds resigned. That's just the way it is. But if you listen closely, you hear a man who knows the system is unfair and still chooses to keep his spiritual center. It's the sound of someone who refuses to let Babylon kill his humanity.
With love.
Number 10 is one of those titles that already tells you where you're going. Bucket Bottom by Prince Allah is a sufferer's song from start to finish. Before he even sings a word, you can imagine the scene. A small yard with a rusted zinc fence, a plastic bucket on the ground, water slowly dripping until it settles at the very bottom. That's the metaphor. Being stuck at the bottom, scraping by, living in the part of society nobody wants to look at. Prince Allah's voice is deep and devotional with that church-like quality that so many great roots singers have. When he sings, you hear both pain and faith. He doesn't dress up the reality. He tells it straight. The lyrics speak for people who grew up with nothing, who had to share one pair of shoes, who knew the sound of an empty pot better than any lullaby. Musically, Bucket Bottom sits at a key moment in reggae history. The rhythm is stripped down, even more than some earlier roots tracks. The drums and bass are huge and upfront, with fewer horns and less decoration than you'd hear in, say, 1975.
All right, go now. Well, we love the idea, man. It's up.
You can feel the early dancehall era coming, that raw, minimal, bass-heavy sound that would take over in the 1980s. But it's still firmly in the roots tradition.
Your love is nice. Your love.
At number 9, we land on a track that feels like sunlight cutting through heavy clouds. Laxley Castell's Jah Love Is Sweeter. If the first 3 songs in this group are about fighting, enduring, and telling the hard truth, this one is about what keeps people going through all of that.
Look at the sun, the moon, and the stars up above.
The belief that Jah's love is sweeter than anything Babylon can offer. Laxley's voice sounds young but wise at the same time. There's an urgency to the way he sings, as if he knows he doesn't have forever. When he calls out, Jah, love is sweeter, you can hear both joy and pleading in it.
Means more to I and I.
Like he's trying to convince not just you, but himself, that this love is real and strong enough to carry him. The production has that deep, swirling quality many people connect with the Black Ark era. Echo trails, warm tape sound,
To I and I. Your love.
Instruments slightly melting into each other in the mix. Nothing is too clean. That roughness gives the track character, like you're listening to something pulled straight out of a small, smoky studio in Kingston, where magic just happened by accident.
And you told the sun to shine in.
Lyrically, the song is simple, almost childlike. But that's the point. It's not trying to be clever. It's trying to be true. Laxley repeats his lines, drives the point home.
Your love is sweet. Your love.
In a world full of poverty, violence, and corruption, the only thing that really tastes sweet is the love of Jah. It's the spiritual version of comfort food.
Innocent blood shed down there.
As we move into number 8, the mood changes from the quiet inner struggle of the earlier songs to something more direct and urgent. With culture, and especially with Joseph Hill at the mic, there is no hiding the message.
George William God was justice of the
Innocent Blood sounds like a headline sung over a drum and bass line, and the headline is simple. Too many innocent people are dying, and somebody has to answer for it. By the time this song arrives, culture already has a reputation. 2 sevens clash turned them into prophets in the eyes of many reggae fans.
down there in Maran Bay at that time.
Joseph Hill was that rare kind of singer. He had the tone of a storyteller, the conviction of a preacher, and the timing of a great songwriter. On Innocent Blood, all of that is there, but sharper, like the situation around him has gotten even more serious.
Think I go beater. You think a little, think a little, think a little, think a little.
The rhythm is tough and steady, not racing, not dragging, just walking forward like a crowd marching down a street. The bass line gives the song weight, the drums carry the heartbeat, and the guitar chops and little organ stabs fill the space without ever distracting from Joseph's voice. He is the center of this track. When he says innocent blood shed in a Jah land, you can feel that he is not singing theory. He is singing about real lives, real faces, real places. The late 70s in Jamaica were tense. Political violence, economic stress, gunmen running communities. All of that hangs in the air behind this song.
Poor people.
You don't have to know every detail of the history to feel the pressure. The lyrics warn that innocent blood cannot be spilled without consequence, that there is spiritual judgment waiting for those who take life carelessly. It's both a warning to the wicked and a comfort to the victims. Number 7 brings us to Burning Spear, and with him, everything slows down and deepens. Nia Keith is not built for quick attention spans. It's a meditative chant, a spiritual workout, the kind of song you lean into rather than just play in the background. Burning Spear's voice on this track is rough and ancient, like a drum that's been beaten for generations. He doesn't sing in a flashy way. There's no big vocal run, no dramatic high notes. Instead, he circles around a few key phrases, repeating, stretching, pulling you into a trance. It's like he's less interested in performing and more interested in building a spiritual atmosphere. Nya refers to Nyabingi, the drumming and chanting tradition at the heart of Rastafari culture. You can feel that influence all over this track. The drums are heavy and earthy, with a pattern that feels more like a heartbeat than a simple backbeat. The bass line doesn't show off. It just digs a hole in the ground and sits there, supporting everything. Horn lines come in like distant shouts across a valley, brief but powerful. Lyrically, Nia Keith is less about telling a story and more about setting a vibration. Burning Spear calls on Jah, calls on Rasta identity, calls on the listener to remember who they are and where they come from. It's about spiritual discipline in a world that keeps trying to drag you away from yourself. When he repeats names, phrases, and calls, he is almost like a village elder at a fire, making sure no one falls asleep while the truth is being spoken.
Render your arts and not your garment.
At number 6, we hit a song that could easily be in the top tier of any Roots countdown, but somehow still lives just off to the side of the big mainstream story. Johnny Osborne's Truths and Rights.
No place in this judgment. Remember the word.
Right from the first bars, you know you're in classic Studio One territory. The rhythm is simple but unforgettable. A steady, swinging groove with a bass line that sings its own melody.
To the children, say you know the truths and rights.
The drums lock in, the guitar chops on the offbeat, and an organ floats in the background. It's not crowded, it's not overproduced. It's clean, confident, and timeless. Then Johnny's voice comes in, clear, strong, and slightly pleading.
You know the truths and rights. You teach it to the children.
He sounds like a man who has decided he's done with excuses. When he sings, "All I have is love for you, my Lord," it's both personal and political. He's talking to Jah, but he's also talking to a world that refuses to give people the basic things they deserve: justice, respect, dignity. The title says it all: Truths and Rights.
That's what I'm about.
The song is about the basic truths of life and the rights every human being should have. It's not a complicated concept, but in a time of political tribalism, poverty, and violence, it becomes revolutionary.
Children say a little prayer.
Johnny doesn't shout, he doesn't threaten. He simply insists that truths and rights can't be denied forever. Number 5 brings us to Dennis Brown and a track that opens like a sermon but feels like a warm embrace. So Jah say. By 1979, Dennis Brown is already a giant. His voice is smooth but powerful, with a natural sweetness that makes everything he sings sound honest. On So Ja Say, produced in that rich, full Joe Gibbs style, he uses that gift not just to comfort, but to correct. The title tells you the angle. This is not So I Say. It's So Ja Say. Dennis is positioning the lyrics as more than just personal opinion. He is quoting a higher authority. When he talks about the wicked facing judgment, about the oppressed finding relief, he sings as if he's simply passing on a message from the Most High. The rhythm is gorgeous. The bass line rolls like a slow river. The drums are crisp without being harsh. And the horns come in with lines that feel both joyful and serious. There's a glow around the whole track, that warm, slightly echoing sound Joe Gibbs records were famous for. You can hear tiny details in the background, soft guitar licks, little organ flourishes, harmonies sliding in at just the right moment. What makes So Ja Say special is that it somehow manages to be both uplifting and firm. Dennis doesn't sound angry, but he's not soft on injustice either. He sings about the downfall of the wicked with the same soothing tone he uses when he sings love songs. And that contrast makes the message hit harder. It's like he's saying, calmly, look, Jah has already decided how this story ends. You can't escape it.
All right, C-Trends fam, let's keep it real. We're pouring our hearts into bringing you the best celebrity news and music deep dives. What? Check it. A massive 98% of you aren't subscribed yet. Subscribing is how you can truly support us, helping us grow and create even better content. If you're vibing with what we do, take a sec to hit that subscribe button. It's free and makes a huge difference. Plus, ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Let's flip that 98% and build this C-Trends family together. Your support is everything.
I want to show any appreciation on behalf of Vibes on the Reggae crew. Thanking you all.
By the time we reach number 4, the story of 1979 reggae starts to stretch far beyond Kingston. With Israel Vibrations' The Same Song, we're dealing with a tune that was born in Jamaica, but carried a message big enough for the whole planet. Israel Vibration are not just another harmony trio. Their story is already written into their sound. The members met as children in a rehabilitation center, each of them living with the long-term effects of polio. Out of struggle, they found Rastafari, they found each other, and they found a way to turn pain into harmony.
Thanking you all for coming out tonight. Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
When you hear them sing together, you're hearing 3 lives cutting through the noise at the same time. The Same Song is one of those tracks that sounds simple the first time you hear it, but the more you listen, the more serious it becomes.
Along with me, sing along with me.
The rhythm is classic roots, a steady, unhurried groove, warm bass, crisp drums, and that easy skanking guitar on the offbeat. On top of that, the 3 voices weave in and out, answering each other, lifting each other like a musical version of Community.
Oh, yeah.
The lyrics are about unity, but not in a cheap bumper sticker way. The idea is that all the true sufferers, no matter their country, color, or language, are singing the same song.
All gonna chop the same chop.
They might face different flags and different faces of Babylon, but the cry for justice and dignity is the same everywhere. It's a simple idea, but hearing it delivered in those harmonies, you feel how true it is.
Now I'm a yaga. I am just
Number 3 takes us to a very specific place and time. Late 70s Britain, where the children of Caribbean immigrants are building their own sound and their own identity. Errol Dunkley's OK Fred is a lover's rock classic, a tune that was absolutely huge in 1979, but which many younger fans today barely know by name. Errol Dunkley was already a respected singer in Jamaica from the rocksteady era, but OK Fred showed how a veteran could slide smoothly into the new UK-born reggae style. Lovers Rock wasn't just about love songs, it was about giving second-generation kids in London and elsewhere their own soundtrack. Romantic, stylish, but still rooted in reggae. The rhythm on OK Fred is light on its feet. The bass line is bouncy rather than heavy, the drums give you a gentle push forward, and the guitar and keys decorate the groove with bright touches. It's the sound of a Friday night house party, not a street protest. But don't let the sweetness fool you. There's a whole story happening in the lyric. Now you're a yaga yaga, I wanna be. OK Fred is built around a character. Fred is seen as a bit of a troublemaker, a rude boy, someone the girl's family doesn't approve of. But from the singer's perspective, Fred is just doing his best to survive. OK Fred, now I'm a yaga yaga. Oh. The song is half love plea, half social commentary. It's saying, don't judge the youth too quickly. You don't know what they're dealing with.
I know the feeling is so hard to resist, yeah.
At number 2, we step into the world of Gregory Isaacs, the cool ruler himself. If Dennis Brown is the crown prince, Gregory is the high priest of quiet intensity. Soon Forward is one of those songs that doesn't raise its voice, but still demands your full attention. The first thing you notice is the mood. The rhythm is laid back but charged, like a conversation that starts soft but could turn serious at any moment. The drums and bass are tight and minimal, leaving space in the middle for Gregory's voice to move. You can hear that early dancehall approach here. Fewer instruments, more focus on the vocal and the groove. Gregory sings in that unique half-whisper, half-moan style he made famous. He sounds like someone leaning in close to your ear, telling you something he doesn't want the whole room to hear. Soon Forward could be a promise to a lover, a vow to return, or a coded message about patience and survival. The beauty is that it works on all those levels at once. There's romance in the way he phrases his lines, but there's also tension. I know the feeling is so hard to resist. This isn't carefree love. It's love in a hard world where time, money, and pressure are always in the way. When he stretches out certain syllables, you feel the weight he's carrying. It's intimate and universal at the same time. Finally, at number 1, we arrive at a song that stands right on the border between eras. Barrington Levy's Collie Weed, also known as Collie Dread. If the earlier tracks in this list represent the high point of Roots, this one is the sound of something new kicking the door open. When Barrington Levy recorded this tune, he was still a teenager, but you wouldn't know it from his voice. He sings with the confidence of someone who already understands exactly how powerful he sounds on a heavy rhythm. His tone is bright, cutting, and full of youthful energy, yet there's a seriousness in his delivery that makes you believe every word. The subject matter is simple on the surface. Collie weed, ganja, herb, a staple theme in reggae. But in the context of early dancehall, Collie weed is about more than just smoke. It's about yard life, ghetto survival, and the small joys people use to cope with big pressures. The way Barrington rides the rhythm, dropping lines between the drum hits, feels modern compared to many of the more traditional roots songs of just a couple of years earlier. The backing track is a perfect example of the new sound. The drums hit harder and drier, the bass is heavier and more repetitive. The arrangement is stripped to the essentials. There's less decoration, more impact. You can hear the influence of producers like Henry Junjo Lawes and bands like the Roots Radics, who were crafting a style built for big sound systems and long nights in the dance. If you enjoyed this episode, then go watch this video.